You selfish little girl. My father's voice cracked through the summer air like a rifle shot, reverberating across the wraparound porch of our lakeside cabin in Vermont. My graduation party ground to a halt. Laughter dissolved into silence. Your brother needs that inheritance more than you. He has a future, real plans. I'm Nora Whitaker, 24 years old, a freshly minted master's degree in biomedical science still in my hand, until my father tore it in half and tossed it into the fire pit like trash. Beside him, my mother stood stiffly, arms crossed. Eli, my younger brother, golden boy of nothing in particular, smirked from a deck chair, sipping lemonade like it was champagne. I earned that, I said, voice steady despite the shaking inside. He left it to me, I added, because he believed in what I'm building. Mom scoffed, Eli's startup needs capital. You've got a job in a lab, you'll manage. Around us, the crowd, family, former teachers, old neighbors, froze. Some stared at the floor. One cousin, halfway through a sip, casually angled her phone behind her lemonade glass. The only one who met my eyes was Aunt Cora, Grandpa's sister. Her face was unreadable, but she gave me the faintest nod. She remembered, too. Grandpa once told me, the world won't always reward you for playing fair. Nora, play smart, know when to move. I juggled 2 published papers, worked nights at a clinic, earned this degree. Eli had failed 3 startups and 1 garage band. Dad thrust a folder into my hands. Sign it, transfer the inheritance, or pack your bags. You're not welcome here anymore. I looked at him, at the folder, then back at him. No, I said. He didn't hesitate, just lunged forward and slapped me, hard. Glass shattered. Someone screamed. Mom gasped like a soap opera extra. Eli didn't even flinch. And then I smiled. You just made this really easy, I said, stepping back and pulling out my phone. Remember how Grandpa insisted on video surveillance at the cabin? The new system syncs with my cloud account. My father's face drained of color. That slap? That threat? Already uploaded. I turned toward the driveway. You can keep the party, I'll keep the money, and the lawyers. The guests parted like a tide. Even Eli looked rattled now. See you next Thursday, I said calmly, at the lawyer's office. What lawyer? Eli's voice cracked. I didn't answer, just kept walking as Dad's rage followed me down the steps, hurling threats like rocks. At my car, Aunt Cora joined me, her expression unreadable but her eyes bright. You knew it would come to this. I nodded. Grandpa warned me. He said the closer we got to the final inheritance date, the more desperate they'd get. She gave my arm a firm squeeze. George always said you had instincts sharper than a scalpel. Did you get it all? I nodded toward the trees where my cousin Tyler emerged, phone in hand. Every second, he said, the diploma, the slap, all of it, backed up and time-stamped. Cora exhaled. They really have no idea what's coming, do they? I started the engine, not a clue. That night, I stayed at Cora's cottage across the lake. My phone lit up with a parade of texts, some furious, some apologetic, many pretending they hadn't seen a thing. Eli sent smug little updates about renovating my old room. I didn't respond. Instead, I opened the legal packet Grandpa left behind with his estate attorney. The inheritance wasn't just a fund, it was controlling shares in Whitaker Innovations, ownership of the cabin, 3 rental properties, all in my name. What my parents saw, a decoy. Grandpa had rewritten the terms years ago after watching them sideline me and spoon-feed Eli. Sometimes, he once said, the only way to open someone's eyes is to slam shut the doors they thought would always stay open. Cora brought me chamomile tea before bed. He'd be proud of you, Nora, she said. You've got his backbone. You waited. I nodded, for the right moment, just like he taught me. The week crawled. My father's messages turned threatening. My mother's guilt campaign began. You're breaking this family apart. Eli is devastated. Do the right thing. But I already was. By Thursday, Eli was posting Instagram teasers for his upcoming venture incubator, smiling selfies, vague hashtags, and a peek at the building he planned to buy. Ironically, it was one of the rental properties Grandpa had already transferred to me. I arrived early at Barrett & Klein LLP. Mr. Klein, Grandpa's lawyer for over 30 years, gave me a knowing nod. Everything's in place, he said, patting the thick folder. Your grandfather had a saying, revenge is optional, legal clarity is not. I smiled and sat down. Let's begin, I chuckled. Are the cameras live? Mr. Klein nodded toward the discreet black domes overhead. In this room? Absolutely. Your father's recent behavior raised enough red flags. Relatives trickled in, curious cousins, a few stiff uncles, then Aunt Cora and Uncle Dean. They gave me small, steady smiles, the kind that said we see you. And then the door opened again. My parents swept in like they owned the building, Eli trailing behind with the smug air of a man already planning his victory speech. His arrogance could have powered a small city. "This is overkill," my father announced, his voice echoing through the conference room. "We can handle this as a family." Aunt Cora didn't even blink. "Like you handled Nora's graduation?" she said, slicing through the tension like a scalpel. Silence. A few people shifted uncomfortably, others avoided eye contact. The infamous cabin video had done its rounds. Mr. Klein didn't waste time. He opened the folder in front of him. "Shall we begin?" My father opened his mouth to object, but the reading had already started. The first minutes were routine, small gifts to distant relatives, donations to causes Grandpa cared about. Then came the moment everyone had been waiting for. "The core estate," Mr. Klein said, glancing around the room, "including controlling interest in Whitaker Innovations, the family cabin, and all related properties." My mother straightened in her seat. Eli smirked and pulled out his phone. Mr. Klein looked directly at them. "All of it," he said clearly, "goes to Nora Whitaker, under conditions of oversight, development, and long-term preservation." It was like setting off a bomb. My father leapt to his feet. "This is ridiculous. We saw the documents, there was only a trust fund." "That was an early draft," Mr. Klein replied, calm as ever. "The final version was executed 3 months before Mr. Whitaker's death, notarized, witnessed, and sealed." Eli's phone slipped from his hand and clattered against the table. "But, my startup," he whispered. Mr. Klein wasn't done. "Additionally, the property currently occupied by Robert and Elaine Whitaker is included in the estate. The occupants have 30 days to either purchase it at market value, or vacate." My mother's polished mask cracked. "Vacate? That's our home." "No," I said, my voice quiet but unmistakable. "It's my home. Grandpa left it to me, just like everything else you tried to bully me into handing over." My father's face twisted in rage as he stepped toward me, fists clenched. "Mr. Whitaker," Mr. Klein snapped, "this room is under surveillance. Any threatening behavior will carry legal consequences. You know what's already on record." Dad froze, eyes flicking toward the camera dome above. Mr. Klein flipped a page. "Your father also left a personal message explaining his decision. Shall we?" No one objected. The screen on the far wall lit up. My grandfather's face appeared, tired but sharp, the weight of wisdom behind every line on his face. "If you're watching this," he began. Then Nora did what I hoped she would, stood her ground. His gaze locked into the camera. "I've watched you ignore her, diminish her, favor Eli. Despite his lack of follow-through, I built Whitaker Innovations from nothing. I know what real effort looks like. Nora has it." Eli muttered something under his breath, but Aunt Cora leaned forward with a single look that shut him down. "She's not my favorite," Grandpa continued. "She's just the one who showed up, the one who never asked for shortcuts." My mother's tears had started, soft, convenient. My father sat motionless, face like stone. Eli just stared at the screen like it had betrayed him personally. Mr. Klein let the silence linger as the video faded to black. "There's more," he said. I opened the folder I'd brought. "Let's talk about the future of Whitaker Innovations." Inside were the plans Grandpa and I had shaped together, vision documents, restructuring proposals, modernization strategies. "This company doesn't need nostalgia," I said. "It needs leadership. It needs to evolve." I met every eye in the room. "My degree might be ashes in a fire pit, but my vision isn't. Our tech is obsolete. Our leadership is bloated. Employee morale is circling the drain. You can't just walk in and change everything," my father exploded. "You've run this company for 20 years, straight into the ground," I said, sliding a stack of quarterly reports across the table. 5 years of declining market share, 60% turnover, 3 major contracts already gone or on their way out. Aunt Cora picked up one of the reports, flipping through it slowly. "George warned you, Robert, you didn't listen." I turned another page. "First change, effective immediately, we're replacing half the board. No more college roommates or golf buddies. We need people with experience, not connections." My father's face darkened. he knew exactly who I meant. Second, I continued, we're enacting Grandpa's employee profit-sharing plan, the one you shelved. From engineering to janitorial, every employee gets a stake. You'll bankrupt us, my mother cried. Mr. Klein passed out a new set of documents. Actually, he said, independent projections show this plan could double profits within 18 months. No one had anything to say to that. I closed the folder gently. This isn't revenge, I said, it's restoration, and it starts now. I turned to Eli, silent until now. You wanted to start a venture studio? Fine, we're launching an internal entrepreneurship program next quarter. Submit a real business plan, complete certification, then you can pitch alongside the other candidates. For the first time, he didn't sneer. You're giving me a chance? I'm giving you an opportunity to earn one, I said. That's more than you ever gave me. My father shoved back from the table, voice frayed. You can't do this, I won't let you destroy my legacy. I laughed, quiet, deliberate. Dad, look around, you're sitting in a failing company, in an office you no longer own, threatening the person who now decides your salary. What legacy? The bravado drained from his face. He sank into his chair, silent, stunned. Now, I said, sliding an envelope across the table, let's talk about your new roles. My mother leaned forward, likely expecting a severance package or ceremonial title. Instead, I handed them each a contract. You can stay, under my leadership, in entry-level roles, learn the business from the ground up, like I did. Summers on the factory floor while Eli backpacked across Europe on your dime. Entry-level? She gasped. I nodded. And yes, your lifestyle will need to adjust. Adjust? I closed the folder. The estate will be sold to fund our modernization initiative. As for you two, take the roles I've offered, buy the house at market value, or start packing. The silence hit like thunder. Around the table, relatives sat frozen, some appalled, others quietly impressed. Aunt Cora didn't bother hiding her smile. I'll do it, said a voice. All eyes turned. Eli stood, his posture was different, shoulders squared, gaze steady. The entrepreneurship program, he said, I want in. I've already started drafting my plan. I studied him. There was something new in his eyes, not entitlement, resolve. Deadlines end of the week, I said. After that, applications open to the public. As people filtered out, some whispering, some stunned, Aunt Cora lingered. She pulled me into a hug. Your grandfather would be proud, she whispered. You showed mercy, but not weakness. I smiled. He taught me revenge doesn't always mean destruction. Sometimes, justice is letting people face their own failures and grow. 3 months later, Whitaker Innovations was transforming. After 2 tense weeks, my father accepted the quality control position. Surprisingly, he thrived, reconnecting with the factory floor, rediscovering the pride and precision Grandpa once instilled in him. My mother didn't take a role. She moved to a modest home closer to town, no staff, no status. Aunt Cora calls it character building, I call it overdue. But the biggest surprise? Eli. He finished the certification faster than anyone. His wellness tech initiative secured pilot funding. Now, he works harder than I've ever seen. Last week, he even thanked me for not making it easy. Since launching profit sharing, morale has soared, turnover's down, applications are up, 2 new contracts came in after our system upgrades, and our stock has surged 30%. Some mornings, I sit in what used to be my father's office, now mine. A photo of Grandpa rests on the desk. Stay sharp, little fox, he used to say. He taught me that leadership isn't domination, it's vision, patience, knowing exactly when to strike, and when to show grace. Next to the photo, I keep a small lacquered box. Inside are the ashes of my burned diploma. Not a symbol of loss, but of rebirth. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't about tearing things down. It's about building something stronger in their place. If you're still reading, thank you. This wasn't just about reclaiming an inheritance, it was about reclaiming myself. Every comment, every message of support reminds me, quiet strength still matters. So if this story resonates, if you've ever been underestimated, overlooked, or told to shrink, I want to hear from you. What would you have done in my shoes? Would you have walked away? Or fought for the future like I did? And if you believe patience, integrity, and purpose still belong in leadership, subscribe. There's more ahead. Because this isn't just my story. It's for every person who was told they weren't enough, until they became more than anyone expected. If I've learned anything, it's this. You don't need to shout to be powerful. You don't need to fight dirty to win. Sometimes, the quietest moves shake the loudest ground. So take your time. Make your plan. Let them underestimate you. Then build something so strong, they'll wonder how they missed it growing beneath their feet. Because true power isn't revenge. It's legacy. So if you're standing in the ashes, unsure of what comes next, start building. And if you need a reminder that growth can rise from loss, come back here. I'll be waiting, with more stories, more lessons, and maybe a few more surprises. Until then, stay sharp.